Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group.
Off the road and into Citizens Bank Park, the Phillies arrive for a lengthy 10-game homestand to finish off August. That is only the start of it. 13 of the next 16 games come against 3 of the top 5 teams in the major leagues, all battling for the divisions and the best record in baseball. On tap first, the National League Central leading Cincinnati Reds. The Cincinnati Reds are 5 wins away from matching their total for all of 2011. It's a tough task for the Phillies. Game 1 of this 4-game series from Citizens Bank Park. Why is it a tough task? Well, take a look at the Reds. They're 74-48. They're just behind the Washington Nationals for the best record in all of Major League Baseball. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. Welcome back to Citizens Bank Park. It's a 10-game homestand for the Phillies, and it begins tonight against the Cincinnati Reds, who have been really the best team in baseball since the All-Star break.
Yeah, this week, Tom, the Phillies will face these guys in Washington, so they're going to face 2 really good teams, the 2 best teams in the National League right now. Cincinnati Reds, Phillies have not seen them this year, and they are having a tremendous season. Look what they've done since the All-Star break. They are in first place. They've blown past everybody with a 27-10 record. Great job in series, and, well, they've swept 4 series. So this team deserves where they are right now. One of the reasons they've stayed healthy all year, especially in their pitching staff. 5 starters for the most part. Only 1 other guy has started a game for them the whole year. Mike Leake, not the hard thrower of the bunch. Guy that finesses a little bit. He'll throw sinkers. He'll throw fastballs, a lot of cutters, some off-speed pitches, and he's an outstanding hitter. But what he does is he works quickly, he throws a lot of strikes, and he lets them use their defense, which for the most part has been very good. A little bit shaky lately, but overall very good defense. Their starting staff, outstanding. The Phillies, of course, will counter with Roy Halladay in there, along with Cliff Lee, and also Cole Hamels and Vance Worley will be in the mix. The Cincinnati Reds, in their history, have never won a Cy Young Award, and they have a couple of guys on this staff right now, including Johnny Cueto, who will pitch on Thursday, that will contend for that.
Yeah, the other guys are Aroldis Chapman, the closer for the Cincinnati Reds. How about that matchup on Thursday? 2 guys who are battling for the Cy Young Award here in 2012, Cueto against Cole Hamels. But first, it's game 1 of this 4-game series tonight. Roy Halladay will take the baseball for the Phils. He's had success against the Reds, including that no-hitter in the postseason a couple of years ago. Lineups and first pitch when we return to Citizens Bank Park. Oh, it's great to be back at home here in Philadelphia at Citizens Bank Park. I know the Phillies are happy to be back home. It's a 10-game homestand, and it begins tonight with 4 games against Dusty Baker's Cincinnati Reds. Doc has already led his team out onto the field. Hey, let's take a look at the Reds starting lineup tonight. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off at shortstop, Zach Cozart. Center fielder Chris Heisey bats second. Brandon Phillips hits third, followed by Jay Bruce, the right fielder. Scott Rowlands over at third base. He'll bat fifth. Xavier Paul, the left fielder, hits sixth. Miguel Cairo, the first baseman, will bat seventh. Devin Mesoraco, the catcher, will hit eighth. And Mike Leake bats ninth. And they'll face Phillies right-hander Roy Halladay, who's getting better and better as this year has gone on. 6-7 with a 3.80 earned run average. Honestly, Wills, at his last outing, he pitched well enough to get a victory.
Oh, yeah, he sure did. He gave up the home run to Greg Dobbs on a high changeup late in that game that gave the Marlins a lead. It sounded a lot worse when you heard the final of 9-2. He gave up 3 of the runs. And his arm slot and his health are much better now. And as a result, he's pitched really good baseball his last few times out. He's had good numbers against the Cincinnati Reds career, and that does not include the no-hitter in postseason play.
Now he'll face a Reds team that is without Joey Votto. In fact, they've been out without Votto for 34 games. You might think, wow, they must really struggle without him. Nope, they're 24-10 without Joey Votto. Jimmy Rollins before the ball game getting high fives. And the reason why is earlier tonight he was presented with second base from Larry Bowa. He passed Larry Bowa on this road trip for the most games played at shortstop in Phillies history.
Tonight we welcome over
the fans with their some of the banners that are in the ballpark tonight. Jimmy said, and he said it to Bowa today, I'll come back and see you when I reach 2,196 hits.
Yeah, he really wants to get more hits than Bo, and he will.
Well, here's Zach Cozart. He'll lead it off for the Reds. He's had a heck of a rookie season. The first pitch is in there for a strike, so it's 0-1. Cozart was 9 for 24 on the homestand for the Reds, which gives him a 6-game hitting streak. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2. He has some amazing numbers, though. He has 30 doubles and 13 home runs, so 46 extra base hits.
However, as we were pointing out, we talked about 28 RBIs.
28 RBIs.
You have to look a couple times at that. Talked to some of the Reds guys before the game. They said, yeah, it doesn't seem like there's ever any men on base when he comes up because he leads off all the time. So 28 RBIs with all those extra base hits.
1-2 pitch. Off the end of the bat. That's going to drop into center field, a base hit. Oh, that was a cutter from Doc, and it just didn't cut far enough away.
Well, it's time now for the Nissan Keys to the game. Great to be back at home for a 10-game homestand. Well, these Reds are a really good team, and if they get the lead, they're very difficult because of the fact their bullpen's so good. And Doc versus the Red, well, it could be good for the Phillies because we just mentioned he has very good lifetime numbers against these guys.
Yeah, 2-1 with a 2.56 earned run average against the Reds. Phillies starters since the All-Star break, we mentioned this yesterday, have a 3.45 ERA. Not too shabby among the leaders in the National League. Cozart takes his lead off first.
They have a lot of young players on this team, and many of them have come through for them, and they've stayed healthy this year. Every time it seems like come on a telecast, you're playing a new team, you say, well, they've had 22 guys on the DL or 15. They've only had 33 players the whole year. 33 players, which is amazing nowadays.
Including their entire starting rotation.
Yeah. One start other than their rotation.
Heisey lines it foul down the left field line, just foul. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Cozart was running on the pitch.
And we're going to bring that up. That it was only because of the doubleheader that they had. They brought another starter up. That's why they needed another guy. So to have 5 guys stay healthy this long is another amazing thing.
Well, Dusty Baker is in his 19th year as a major league manager. You just saw his numbers as the Reds manager. He is without a contract after this year. Pretty interesting stuff. 1 ball, 1 strike the count.
Didn't realize that.
A curveball swung on and missed. 1-2.
Chris Heisey, they have a little local touch on this team with Frazier from Toms River. Heisey is from Mount Joy in the Lancaster area. Mesoraco, their catcher, isn't local, but he's from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
1-2 the count to Heisey. That one's hit toward the hole just past Rollins. So back-to-back hits now with 2 strikes for the Reds, and they've got 2 runners on with nobody out here in the top of the first.
See why they're hot? They get a blooper off the end of the bat, and now you're cheating up the middle for a double play, and it just goes in the hole. And those are we saw a lot of that around here for a number of years with the Phillies. When you're hot, all kinds of good things happen for you, because a lot of the times you make it happen for you.
Well, that'll bring Brandon Phillips to the plate. Phillips is hitting .304 since the All-Star break, which has raised his average to .287. He's probably going to win the Gold Glove this year at second base. In fact, once Freddie Galvis went out with an injury, I don't know if Phillips had a challenge defensively at second. He checked his swing at a breaking ball, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Good job by Kratz. Keep the runners at first and second.
This is one of those innings now where first inning with a veteran pitcher who does give up runs in the first. He's just trying to get this thing under control right now, because he knows the first 2 hits could have easily been outs, have nobody on base. Don't let them have a big inning.
1 ball, 1 strike the count.
Phillips is the guy who made the last out of the no-hitter when he hit that dribbler down the first baseline, and the bat was there. Carlos Ruiz somehow avoided the bat and threw him out at first base. What a night that was.
Roy Halladay was in some rarefied air that year with 2 no-hitters in the same season. A perfect game and a no-hitter.
I think Phillips was leading off that night.
1 ball, 1 strike the count to him. Opposite way, a base hit. Dominic Brown gets on it quickly. Kozar to be held at third. The throw is a strike, just to step up the third base line, and now the bases are loaded with nobody out. Good job by Dominic to get to that quickly. The fact that Kozar had to hold up to make sure it went through helped the Phils.
Yeah, and good piece of hitting too. Pitches away from him, and Phillips hits it that way. Brown's throw is way offline, but a strong throw. And there was no chance you're going to try and score in a play like that with nobody out in the first inning, especially with the guys coming up now like Bruce.
Jay Bruce has hit 8 consecutive ball games. .255, 25 home runs, 76 RBIs.
Playing for a double play, just hoping to get a ground ball here and get 2 outs for a run.
In the dirt, blocked again by Kratz. 1-0. Swing and a miss to the changeup. 1-1 to Bruce. Bruce with 25 homers and 76 RBIs. His numbers with the bases loaded. He has at least 20 home runs in each of his first 5 seasons with the Cincinnati Reds. In the dirt, 2-1.
Throwing a lot of changeups. Off speed, curveball first, then changeups. Trying to get him to get out front a little bit and hit a ground ball in the infield.
A bullet to right field. It's going to stay in the yard and hit off the scoreboard. 1 run scores. Here comes the second run. Oh no, now they're both stuck at third. The throw to the plate, and Heisey's going to be thrown out. Some miscommunication over at third base. The third base coach, Mark Berry, was waving Heisey and then stopping Phillips, and I think Heisey thought he was stopping him. A break for the Phils. 1 run scores. It's 1-0 Reds, but there's an out on the board.
See Dusty Baker's look there as they give the Phillies an out on the bases as that confusion coming around third. That is what happened on that play when Juan Samuel got run over by Pence. If what you're doing, you get rid of the one guy and then you start paying attention to the other. See, did he touch him? Well, if he had touched him, he would be out anyway. I don't know whether they saw that. If you touch him, you're not allowed to do that. He was just like he was either trying to hold him or pushing.
Oh, one man down, runners on second and third. And here's Scott Rowland, who's making his 2,000th appearance over at third base in his career. Chopper foul, 0-1. Take a look. We'll see if he puts his hands on him. Right there. Did he?
Yes, he can't do that.
They have.
Well, nobody's really looking at it, I guess. He pushes him. Yeah, he could have had an argument there. If something had happened on that rundown, the Phillies somehow didn't get him out, they would have had an argument or a point there that you're not allowed to touch him.
Rowland has had a good run since the All-Star break, and it includes his numbers with runners in scoring position. He's down in the count 0-2.
Yeah, that thing came off the wall so quickly that it helped cause that confusion by the fact that it was hit so hard and came back in a hurry, and the Phillies got it in a hurry.
Ground ball softly hit. Polanco has it. His play is to first. A run scores. 5-3 on the putout. He made a good pitch. Credit Rowland, though, for making the contact. Yeah, there are 2 outs. 2-0 Cincinnati. Placido Polanco back in the lineup. He's been on the disabled list with lower back stiffness since the 26th of July.
That's a correct play by Polanco, too. A veteran play. You don't want to do too much there. You're playing the infield back for a reason because you're conceding the run unless it's just a bullet hit right at you and you have a shot at the guy. The odds are you're not going to get him anyway, and you may hit him with a throw.
Well, now Paul is up with 2 outs.
See Polanco here. He has a chance. If you really have to get the guy, you think about it, but the defense is not set up to make that play. It's set up to get the out.
2-0 the count to Paul, who spent most of this year down in the minor leagues where he hit .315. But he's played 26 games now. This is the 27th for the Reds. High fastball swung out and missed. It's 2-1.
We saw him with the Dodgers, the Pirates. Pretty good extra man. Not that guy. He's a big time player, everyday player. Get Charlie talking about him. His eyes light up the way he can swing the bat.
Well, 2-2 the count. He's had the count 2 strikes to a handful of hitters in this inning and hasn't been able to put them away.
Well, they've done a good job of not swinging and missing in this inning. They've been putting the ball in play.
Halladay ready. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung out and missed. And he's out of it here in the first. The Reds scored 2. It could have been a lot worse. They do so with the help of 4 hits. They leave 1. We go to the bottom of the first. Citizens Bank Park. Mike Leake has already warmed up. Let's take a look at the Phillies lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity. It's your home for the most live sports. Leading it off at shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. Juan Pierre bats second, then Chase Utley, the second baseman. Ryan Howard is the cleanup hitter. John Mayberry bats fifth. Dominic Brown hits sixth. Placido Polanco seventh. Eric Kratz, the catcher, will bat eighth tonight. And batting ninth and pitching is Roy Halladay, of course. And they'll face 24-year-old right-hander Mike Leake, who's 5-7 on the year. Jimmy Rollins leads it off. And Rollins takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Leake is not going to blow you away with velocity, but he's a smart pitcher. He moves the ball around. There are his numbers coming off a complete game against the New York Mets. He has more hits than innings pitched. There's a scouting report on him. He'll go fastball cutter. He'll also mix in curve changeup. He works fast. He throws strikes, and the guy's a really good hitter. He's hit a couple home runs.
A little low. 2-1 the count to Rollins. Rollins is 0 for his last 17. This dropped Jimmy's average down to 239. 14 home runs, 43 RBIs. And a fly ball center field. One away here in the first. A nice crowd settling in for game one of this 4-game series. I tell you, I know the Phillies are in fourth place, a game behind the Mets for third place. But if you're a baseball fan, which obviously a lot of folks are that are here tonight, wait till you see some of the pitching matchups that are on tap for this series. Not only this one, because Doc's going against Mike Leake, but how about the Thursday game with Cole Hamels against Johnny Cueto? There's Cole. Juan Pierre takes strike one.
And you have the Nats coming in for the weekend. We don't know who they're going to pitch yet. I'm going to sit down and figure it out.
Pierre 306, a home run, 21 runs batted in. Opposite way. That's going to slice away from Xavier Paul. And Pierre's on his way to second. The throw by Paul is not in time. A one-out double, 8th double of the year for Juan Pierre.
That Paul was in good position, but he hit that further than he normally does. And then when he got to it, he took it on his heels. Pierre could see that and knew he could get to second base. There's good base running too by Juan Pierre, coming hard out of the box, going around first. You know, see, watch when he fields this thing, how he is. See, right there now, everything's backwards. You can't get hardly anything on the throw that way. So he knew he was going to be able to get into second base without any problem. A breaking ball, and they have him played over near the line, but he hits a little further.
He had a couple of those on this road trip that were caught because they weren't hit as hard as that one was.
Right.
So one out. Here's Chase. Chase 5 for 21 on the road trip.
They normally figure he's not going to hit the ball over their head, so they play for the one in front of them.
Overall, Chase hitting .247 with 8 home runs, 21 runs batted in. He walked an awful lot on this last trip.
I'd like to get at least one back here now.
A strike on the outside corner, 0-1.
Opposition's hitting .425 off Leach on the first pitch he throws, but Utley is a guy that hardly ever swings at the first pitch.
Well, Wheels, in honor of tonight being Hatfield Dollar Dog Night, Christine Heckler of Hatfield, Pennsylvania. Well, you're the lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game. You'll win $100. You could buy 100 hot dogs here at the ballpark. Pierre's going. The pitch is low and in. No throw. And Juan Pierre reaches 30 stolen bases for the 11th time in his career.
That was a good stolen base right there with one out. Leake forgot about him. So the catcher didn't even move. Morosco, he just stayed in his crouch, and that's what Tom's talking about with those stolen bases. Leake right there, he figured out what he was doing or not going to do, and he had that one easily.
Well, congratulations to Juan Pierre. He's been one of the best base stealers in recent baseball history, as Utley lines it right at Brandon Phillips. Talk about unlucky. He drilled that ball.
Yeah, because you're just going to say you get a ground ball here, you have a run. They're playing everybody back and conceding a run. So what does he do? Hits a bullet right at him.
Can't do much about that.
Nope.
Two outs. Ryan Howard's up. Ryan's numbers are gradually improving. .246 overall average thanks to an 8 for 26 road trip. 21 RBIs since he came off the DL. And he lines that one into center field, a base hit. Phillies get a run back. An RBI single for Howard, scores Juan Pierre. And it's a 2-1 ball game.
Boy, it looked like they're going to have bad luck again. Because they played the short. Remember in the series the Phillies just finished, Milwaukee played their shortstop on the shortstop side a second. But in this case, they put Cosart on the other side. That thing was hit right at him and it looked like he was going to catch it. Looked like 2 BBs in a row were going to be caught. Brian hits that sinker and right at him. Look how much he misses it by. Almost picked him.
22 RBIs now for Howard. He's hit in 5 straight. And now John Mayberry. Mayberry had a nice road trip. 6 for 20 with a home run, 2 RBIs.
See what Charlie's tried to do is put a right-handed hitter in here between the 2 left-handed hitters because of the fact Sean Marshall is very difficult out of their bullpen, and then their closer is just, well, that's another story we'll get around to later. He's just ridiculous.
Maybe we won't.
Well, they don't think he'll pitch tonight or tomorrow, from what I was told. Definitely not tonight, and maybe not even tomorrow because they've used him a lot, 3 days in a row, and he throws so hard.
And depending on the matchups, Broxton or Marshall could close for them.
Right.
Swing and a miss. 1-2 the count to Mayberry.
How about the bullpen they could have had this year if Madsen hadn't gotten hurt? The way it turns out.
Wonder if they would have made Chapman. Well, I guess he would have been a setup guy to start for Madsen, but he could have even overtaken Ryan as the closer.
There he is right there on the left. He's some act.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count to Mayberry. Ground ball to third, rolling backhands. He's going to go to second. And the Phillies settle for a run here in the first. They get one back of the RBI single by Ryan Howard. We've completed our first inning on this homestand. We go to the second. The Reds on top by 1. Phillies trail at 2-1 as we go to the top of the second. During the 2012 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. Miguel Cairo starts it off for the Reds and takes a curveball for a strike. 0-1.
2 ex-Phillies on this team. Scott Rowland, of course, Miguel Cairo, and Wilson Valdez.
Had a play on the right side. Wilson hasn't played as much for the Reds as he played for the Phillies, but we talked about the fact the Reds haven't had a whole lot of injuries to deal with.
Yeah, they got a lot of young players so they don't, in the middle infield, they don't have to rest them that much. There's Valdez, And Frazier's been playing a lot of third base for Scott Rowland, doing a great job.
Halladay just barely missed with that 0-2.
Let's see if he can settle down there. That score is pretty good, 2-1. It could be a lot worse than that right now.
Foul tip into the glove of Kratz. Strikeout number 2 for Roy Halladay. There with one away, Mesoraco, the catcher, is due up.
There's a change up. And Cairo swings and foul tips at his time. So they did not swing and miss at Roy a lot in the first inning. They were making contact and finding holes, and they hit one ball really hard, and that was a ball Bruce hit. He hit it so hard that it was part of the reason why they had the base running snafu.
0-1 the count to Mesoraco. Ryan Hannigan does a majority of the catching for the Reds. Mesoraco, who caught Leaks last game, catching again tonight. And it's 0-2.
Yeah, they thought this guy was really going to be a good offensive player, and they still think he has potential, but he has not been the hitter they felt he would be.
0-2 pitch.
Evidently hooks a lot of balls foul down the third baseline, trying to get after fastballs or trying to get started too quickly, and gets himself in the hole, and then 2 strikes on you, you're in trouble.
Over to third, Placido Polanco in the soft hands of the reigning Gold Glover. Throws out Mesoraco, who really moved up the first base line.
Didn't run like a catcher.
2 outs.
Breaking ball, tops it. He did pull it.
Well, you see Doc's percentage of pitches. The curveball over his last couple starts has really been a big time pitch for him.
Yeah, and that fastball in there is going to be mostly cut fastballs. He has a higher percentage, much higher percentage of cutters than he does his sinker. He throws out a lot more than he used to.
It's hard sometimes to differentiate the cutter and the slider, and the cutter and a straight fastball.
Yeah, he doesn't throw many sliders, pure sliders. He throws cut fastballs, and then he throws that sinker, try and get a guy off the plate a little bit.
Another curveball, and Polanco has another easy play. A 1-2-3 second inning for Doc. So he does a nice job coming back after the Reds scored 2 in the first. A quick conversation with the home plate umpire Bill Miller. We go to the bottom of the second here in Philadelphia. The Phillies trail it by 1. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to take advantage of new low pricing and see every remaining Phillies out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Phillies.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. Home half of the second. The Reds lead it 2-1. As quickly as Mike Leake warmed up in the first, he's not as quick here because he hit to finish up the top of the second. So it took him a few extra moments to get out to the pitcher's mound.
And Roy Halladay treated him with respect that you have to treat Mike Lee. Threw him a big old slow curveball there that he rolled over for an out.
Well, Dominic Brown will lead it off. Dominic really finished up the road trip strong. He had some really nice at-bats in yesterday's game. Murph talked to him after the ball game yesterday, and he said that he felt good, but he also said his teammates put him in position to have those at-bats because he was able to be aggressive with the bases loaded in the first one.
Hit some balls hard yesterday. He moved a runner one time, hit a hard ground ball, and turned out to be a base hit. But he did the job. He hit a base hit up the middle.
2-1 the count.
They say that in time he's going to be able to handle that stuff inside and pull it as opposed to waiting and fighting it off the way that he's doing right now.
Fouls it away, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dominic still looking for his first home run since being called up. It's that one over to second. Scooped up by Brandon Phillips with a little flare. One away. Placido Polanco is coming up. And just talking to him yesterday or today, Murph, he says he's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, he says he's feeling real good. I asked him if he's 100%. He said he's getting pretty close to that. Maybe a little bit of tightness still in that back, but certainly good enough that he can come up here, he believes, and contribute. So, gets the start tonight, batting 7th here for Charlie Emanuel. Charlie, of course, was asked today, how do you plan on using Placido going forward? And he said, well, we're going to take it day by day, really. He thinks that Kevin Franson will probably play tomorrow, but that Polly, when he shows that he can get in there day in and day out, that he's going to play most of the time. He is your Gold Glove third baseman, so as long as he looks healthy, Charlie thinks he'll get the bulk of the time, and that's exactly what Polly's hoping for.
Well, and obviously Kevin Franson hit very well, and I thought made a number of exceptional plays, particularly to his glove side, Murph, while he filled in for Polanco.
Yeah, Kevin Franson really did just about everything you can ask of him as that ball almost skids through, and Placido Polanco saved it first. So back with a base hit, but back to Franson, who, really did what you need him to do down there at third base, but also really impressed with the bat. And Charlie said today, look, he earned the right to play. He's going to get a chance to play. And, guys, he might even get a chance to play a little bit of second base, a little bit of shortstop as the season winds down. So he can look for him there as well.
I think the shortstop part of it is going to be very interesting because, obviously, Rollins will play most of the time at shortstop, but every team needs a backup at that particular position. Whether he can do it, well, I guess that's what Charlie's going to try to find out. Here's Eric Kratz with 1 out. Polanco at first. And the first pitch way outside, 1-0. Saw Kratz's numbers. He struggled on the road trip offensively. Hit some balls hard. Still managed to pick up a couple RBIs. Hit a long home run in Milwaukee.
His home numbers are good.
Outside, 2-0.
They're throwing him a lot of stuff away right now. Cutters, trying to keep what we've seen from him so far, and their scouting reports have to show that was the series he had with the Brewers, just the one hit and it was a homer. Their scouting reports have to show, or do not throw him too many high fastballs because he likes those.
Short lead for Polanco at first, and that's on the outside corner. The home plate umpire Bill Miller seems to like that pitch.
He liked it. He likes it all of a sudden.
He is the crew chief. Dan Iassogna is at first. C.B. Buckner is at second, and Corey Blosser is around at third. Be bad to work out a walk here with Doc coming up next. Maybe have Halladay try to sacrifice, give Jimmy Rollins a chance to drive in a couple. 3 balls, 1 strike to count to Kratz. Polanco goes. That ball is smoked right through the middle. Polanco's on his way to third. And oh man, run for your lives. A one-out single by Eric Kratz, who's not your typical 8-hole hitter.
No, and that's not a typical play that you see from the Phillies at all. You know, a guy that doesn't run all that well in Polanco, and what they do, they're playing hit and run with him. And there it goes right through the middle. Polanco is running, so he gets to third base as that went through the wickets. That's Charlie right there, Manuel, saying, well, you know what? Kratz has been making some contact. He's going to get a fastball to hit here probably, because they don't want to walk him, bring the pitcher up with 2 on. So let's start the runner and see what happens. And what happened was a first and third. Now they'll still probably bunt here.
Miguel Cairo just signaled into the dugout, asking Chris Spire, who's laying down the signs defensively, where he should go. Halladay squares. And he takes a curve for strike. It's 0-1.
The reason you bunt here is if Halladay were to swing the bat, hit a ground ball, it's a double play, you get nothing. So you're still trying to get a second and third with 2 outs and have Jimmy Rollins bat, maybe get something in that way.
He does bunt, bunts it foul.
You think about him swinging the bat, and okay, well, yeah, he hits fly balls right, doesn't he? Yeah, he does. But they're usually very shallow, and that guy in right field is real shallow, and Bruce can throw with anybody.
And the guy over third is not your quickest cat out there.
Right. So the bunt is the bunt is the right play here, especially if he could get it down.
0-2 the count. Up high, 1-2. Pulled it back and takes a swing and a miss. First strikeout for Leake. He threw him a curveball.
Threw him a couple curveballs in that at bat, which is a good pitch to bunt if you recognize it. Reason being that it's already on its way down. He can get that ball on the ground a lot easier. It can also freeze a guy. Here they take it off right there, let him swing away, and he chases one way out of the zone.
Rollins flied out to center his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Phillies down by 1. They've got the tying run at third. That was a changeup. And it's 0-1. Jimmy's 0 for his last 18 overall, and that's some of those at-bats have been with runners in scoring position. He's got Polanco at third, Kratz at first. Inside, 1-1.
They want to come upstairs with him, which is a good way to pitch Jimmy Rollins, because he's always been such a good low ball hitter from the left side. Really has hurt teams throughout his career. That pitch up, you know, you're usually not going to do a whole lot with it anyway. You're going to pop it up.
Popped him up, foul territory, rolling over toward the railing and out of play. Jimmy has popped out 57 times this year.
Yeah,
that's an unbelievable number.
Yeah, and you're talking pop-ups. You mean the infield? That's
right.
Not the fly ball outs.
No, not to shallow. You know, where the outfielders come in to make the play.
Yeah, it's way too many balls in the air.
Try to come through here with the Phils down by 1. They've had chances, or had base runners, I should say, these first couple of innings. And a changeup just missed. 2-2.
Well, they're making Leake work. He's throwing a lot of pitches. They do like their bullpen. It's not like you get a knock a starter out here, and you know you're going to get into some soft underbelly. But still, you like to get a starter as quickly as you can in any game.
Rollins grounds it towards second. And Brandon Phillips has it, and the inning is over. So the Phillies do threaten. They get a couple base runners, but they do not score. They lead 2. We go to the top of the third here in Philadelphia. The Phillies down by 1. Cogwheels, go to the fans section for all the information. Please submit your answer on the subject line. Here's a question. Pete Rose has 3,358 hits as a Cincinnati Red. Who was second on the Reds hit list with 2,340? The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. On to the third. Hello, ladies. Beautiful night here at the ballpark. That guy didn't want to get in the shot. He was backing away from getting in the shot. Zach Cozart leads it off, and he takes ball 1. First time he was up, he was down in the count 1-2, and he flared a single into center field. Reds went on to score 2 runs in the first. Outside, and it's 2-1. The Reds have 2 bona fide Rookie of the Year candidates.
Yeah.
And Cozart, who probably doesn't have the batting average or the RBIs to be considered for it. But Dusty Baker has another guy who's not in the lineup tonight, Todd Frazier. As Cozart pops it up behind second, 1 away. I mean, that's part of their success, that they have been able to put together a couple of rookies that have been successful. Oh boy, it's a Hatfield Dollar Dog night, and Smiley has stopped by the booth to drop off some Dollar Dogs, Wheels.
Thank you, Smiley.
Yep, take your pick, Wheels. You can have as many as you want. If you want mustard or ketchup, they're in the back. Smiley, it's always nice to see you. Thank you very much for having them.
Appreciate it.
It's always a successful night at the ballpark. There are a couple of more. There are 2 more tonight and 1 in September here at the ballpark. Fans always enjoy it. In fact, there's usually folks that are trying to see how many they can eat. Sarge is in the back room doing the same thing. He's usually the winner in the whole contest that we have. So
they're still warm.
Well, it's because they're foiled up.
Whoa. Oh my.
Oh, jeez. The Fanatic is gone. I saved one. I did. I saved one. Smiley, you got to be quicker than a Fanatic to make sure the dogs stay in the booth.
Now you know our live.
Unit, I saved one for you, buddy.
It's what it's like being with him all the time.
Statistician. Smiley's going down with his head down. Grounder over to third. Polanco to his left. Izzy's thrown out for the second out. Oh wait, there comes the Fanatic.
He's embarrassed.
You just couldn't do it, huh? A little bit of guilt. You were taking away from the fans, who we. You hit the roof is what you did there. Fans are wondering what the heck's going on. There's hot dogs flying off the roof here at the ballpark. Smiley, make some fans happy. There you go. Whoop. This guy, we just threw some guy 3 hot dogs. Photographer. Here's Brandon Phillips, who takes outside. There's one that just went down to the Hall of Fame club. That got out of control there, Wheels. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Phillips. Swing and a miss. Wheels, there's one more here. Wheels, throw another one out. Make somebody happy. Nice toss, Wheels. Well, Smiley, we appreciate it as always. Thank you very much. Fanatic, well, it's always nice to have the Fanatic here. He's intruding on Smiley's moment. 1-2 the count to Brandon Phillips.
See you, Smiley.
Carl, I'm sorry we threw out your hot dog, buddy. Carl Graver, our statistician, was looking at his chops looking for an extra
He didn't get one?
No, we had stolen one, but I tossed it out.
Sorry, Carl.
Here's the 1-2 pitch to Phillips. Over to second. Chase Utley is there. 7 in a row, make it 8 in a row. Retired by Roy Halladay. Nice comeback from Doc after that 2-run first. The Fanatic feeling very guilty about stealing Wheels' hot dogs. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. By Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phillies. And by Nissan Summer Saving Days. Event ends September 4th. Visit choosenissan.com. Juan Pierre lead it off. He doubled. He scored the run for the Phils. Back into first. Won the count. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Pierre. Wheels, we want to send a special birthday wish out to David Montgomery's cousin, Loretta Toots. 100 years old today.
Oh, wow.
Happy birthday, Loretta.
David's got a 100-year-old cousin.
Pretty
Nice.
impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive.
So happy birthday. Hope she's enjoying herself. She's sitting watching the game.
Oh, that's great.
Back home. Little number foul.
She could give us baby stories about David.
I would think so. Lifelong Phillies fan. She lives in Bristol, Pennsylvania.
Sharp as a pistol.
Well, we hope that she's enjoying her night as she's celebrating 100 years. She has seen a lot of Phillies baseball during her time, including the 2008 World Championship. Two and two the count to Juan Pierre. Juan doubled down the left field line his first time up, and because of that, Xavier Paul is shaded even more toward the line.
Right. And not deep either. He's not going to give up on on the depth out there. Juan Pierre just really drove that ball the first time.
3-2 the count to Pierre. Swing and a miss. 91-mile-an-hour fastball. I think he was surprised he threw him a fastball there. Second strikeout for Leake. I say that because he looked like he was late on his swing. Reds are back for 3 more days, including Wednesday's 1990s Retro Night. Tickets are available by going to Phillies.com. You can stop by the ticket office and make your purchase as well. So as we said, some really good pitching matchups. You want to really circle that last night. Hamels against Cueto. Chase Utley's the hitter. Utley lined out his first time up, and he takes strike 1. Well, there he is, Wheels. He's not feeling as guilty anymore. He's back into his act.
But he was stealing those hot dogs. It was nice he came back there so he could toss them to the fans.
0-2 the count.
Always enjoy a booth visit by the Fanatic.
And Smiley, too.
Oh, Smiley's great when he comes along, too, because he's bringing the hot dogs.
I thought the whole curtain was going to come down, honestly, when the Fanatic came in.
I'll tell you, I had a beverage over here, and it dawned on me at the last second that those two huge, whatever they are, were in here. and I grabbed it. And had a heck of a chance to wind up on the floor.
Right, particularly if he does that.
Yeah.
Here's the 1-2 pitch to Utley. And Chase hits it hard. Nice play by Cairo. Leake is there to cover.
He's
there, 2 outs.
2 balls right on the nose. He looks a little frustrated. Nice play by Miguel Cairo down there.
37 years old.
Yeah, they have a few guys filling in for Votto. This is just a reaction. He's used to playing a lot of third base, second base, so his hands are very good. And he played that like a veteran infielder.
Ryan Howard drove in the run for the Phils in the first. He's hit it 5 straight. He's now 9 for his last 19. They do have the overshift on against him. Rolen is playing shortstop. He's the third baseman.
This is the more normal shift that you see on Ryan Howard. Milwaukee did not use it over the weekend.
1-0 pitch now to Howard. Curveball. Phillies have won 6 straight games against the Reds.
Yeah, they have played the Reds very well over the last few years. They swept them when we went out there last year.
Yeah, in fact, they were 7-1 last season.
Yeah, 4-0 in that last season, series when the Phillies left town early to avoid the hurricane here, and then went out and spent a couple days in Cincinnati before that series started. And then they swept them.
Have not lost a season series against the Reds since 2003.
20-9 here.
Was it like that against the Big Red Machine?
No. No. In fact, the Phillies lost more heartbreakers out there. You can't imagine they would lose games in the late innings. We would have the post-game show all set up, and who was going to be coming on with Whitey afterwards, and everything was all set. Another loss. It was just unbelievable the way they would rally.
Here comes the 2-2 pitch to Howard. Howard hits it a ton. Deep to right field. Forget about that one. It is gone. Deep into the first level. And the Phillies have just tied the ball game up at 2 apiece. He said he's swinging the bat better lately. It's home run number 8. And Christine Heckler of Hatfield, Pennsylvania, you've just won $100. Compliments of the McDonald's home run jackpot.
His timing's good right now. That looked like a fastball. It was down where he likes it. Yeah, well, he can hit that low ball. Talk about Jimmy Rollins. Well, Ryan's another guy who's a low ball hitter, and that thing was down, and he just golfed it out of here.
294 career home runs now for Ryan Howard. So we're all even at 2. John Mayberry is up. Phillies now have one more hit than the Reds. And a strike to Mayberry.
18 home runs thrown now by Leake, 10 left-handed hitters.
That was majestic.
Yeah, that was a high one.
To right center field. That's pretty well hit. But Bruce is going to be out in the alleyway and under it. And the side is retired. But the Phillies tie it up. They do so on Ryan Howard's 294th career home run. It was a long one, folks. Here it is. Pitch that was down, and he golfed it deep into the lower seats. We're tied at 2 as we go to the 4th here at Philadelphia. Love, like quality office chairs from Hahn, delivered and assembled by who? But W.B. Mason. 3 in the books. We go to the 4th inning. Phillies have tied it up at 2. First of this 4-game series. Jay Bruce, Scott Rowland, and Xavier Paul. They're due up for the Reds. 4, 5, and 6 against Roy Halladay. He's retired 8 straight hitters since the double by Bruce. That was in the first. He throws a breaking pitch. And it's 1-0 to Jay Bruce. Gary Matthews joins us up here in the booth. Hasn't mattered at all, Sarge, that Joey Votto's been on the disabled list for the Reds. He's missed 35 games, counting this one. They're 24-10 since he went on the disabled list and had the arthroscopic surgery to his knee. And then the other day, he had a 6-minute procedure to clear out some cartilage. That's going to extend his stay on the disabled list, but part of the reason why is because Bruce has been able to carry things from the middle of the lineup.
Yeah, and you need guys like that during the course of the season. We've talked about it before. You need the 3, 4, 5 guys to hit consistently in order for your team to win.
3-1 pitch to Bruce. Low, ball 4, so he's aboard. First walk issued by Doc. Well, I know you talk to Dusty all the time. I mean, his team is, next to the Nationals, the 2nd best record in Major League Baseball. What does he attribute it to?
Well, again, not having a whole bunch of injuries, and also the pitching. Once he changed Chapman there in closing spot, boy, oh boy, things started to change around from them. They have still some injuries. They are thinking about maybe Votto might be back in a month or so. Don't really know exactly when he is coming back because of that injury and the procedure that you just talked about, but they've been able to hold on, playing fairly good defense. And when you have defense, you get pitching. They've had timely hitting. That spells win.
Yeah, I just think it's remarkable that they've been able to continue this run and really have the best team in the National League since the All-Star break without him. I mean, that's a big piece to be missing in the middle of the lineup.
Yeah, this guy's one of the best players in the league, have been for the last 3 years or so. And when you have again a Votto, and then what do we have there? Is that
That's
Cueto?
Johnny Cueto, yeah.
And the way that he's been pitching, one of the guys is going to get consideration for that Cy Young Award. There's our friend Wilson Valdez.
Well, Bruce draws the throw. Well, I mentioned during the Open, and you can remind Dusty of this, they're 5 wins away from matching their total from all of last year.
I'm
They
sure
did not have a very good year.
Yeah, he's definitely well aware of that.
Over to first. Nice play by Howard. Has trouble getting the grip. There's one. The flip back to first, not in time. Rollins and Halladay did everything they could to try to turn that double play. But they get one, and there are 2 outs.
Pretty good play there by Mayberry. All in the feet there. I'm sorry, Howard there, all in the feet. You see, he kind of lost that grip. Might want to keep that in that glove a little bit longer and put your hand in it at that same time, maybe to get a better grip. It looked like he tried to flip it, and, well, he's safe as well, definitely.
Well, now Kratz is going to go out to talk to Doc. He called him out there.
No, and Howard, when he doesn't have to think about that throw, he seems to be able to throw that ball on the money. When he has a lot of time, that's when he seems to throw the ball away. But that's a play there that should be almost just automatic. Coming off the bag, being able to get that ball, and then bingo, right to second base.
Foul ball. And it's 0-1 to Miguel Cairo, who struck out his first time up. Alicia has some youngster already picked out. That young guy's been sitting next to Alicia the entire night, or first part of the night. He's probably saying, hey, listen, first foul ball, give it to me. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Well, usually the Reds would have Ludwig in that lineup along with Stubbs. They could give them a day off. They have one of the schedules like the Phillies with, what is that, 17 games in 17 days. The guys aren't able to get days off. So when you have a lead like this, you can rest your players, and that's really the best thing. You don't have to just put the whip on them, so to speak, every single day.
0-2 the count to Cairo. Ground ball over to shortstop. Couple of hops to Rollins. The inning is over. Doc has not allowed a hit since the first. He leaves 1 here in the 4th. We've played 3.5. It's the Reds 2 and the Phillies 2. We'll be back. Citizens Bank, we're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loan that's right for you. Buy AT&T. Rethink possible. And buy Toyota. Every new Toyota purchase comes with Toyota Care. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Dominic Brown will lead it off against Mike Leake, the 24-year-old from Phoenix, Arizona. a first-round selection in 2009. Who last year won 12 games and had an ERA of 3.86. This year his ERA is a little higher, but his team scores a lot more runs than they did last year.
Well, this is the guy that, for me, Dominic should be able to handle, meaning that squaring up just about all the balls he hits. Just missed, though, from hitting that ball out of here.
The center fielder Heisey puts it away. Don't just watch the game on TV. Get the total game experience, Sarge, with Comcast Sportsnet on TV and online. Get updated stats, scores from around the league, and news from our team of insiders. Check out In-Game Live now on CSNPhilly.com. You can check that out on your iPad, Sarge.
Yeah.
In-Game Live.
Yeah, I get a lot of games. Definitely.
Polanco reached on an infield single his first time up.
You know, I said that too about Dominic Brown, because that's a pitcher in the league, not overpowering. The ball's coming right into him. He does throw off-speed pitches. There's that fastball at 88, and those are the guys here that he really needs to be able to attack. And like I said, just missed from hitting that ball out of the ballpark.
2-0 the count to Polanco.
And knowing that he's going to be playing every day has to help him just mentally. Doesn't have to look up on the board to see whether or not his name's in the lineup or not, at least for right now or the remaining of the year.
He did say that yesterday, that is comforting to him, that even against a left-hander like yesterday, he thought he was going to sit against Randy Wolf, but when he got to the ballpark, he realized he was in the lineup, and he said that comfort and the confidence that Charlie has shown in him has helped him.
Oh yeah, and it will, especially coming from management. But you have to be able to help yourself once you are in the lineup, meaning doing some type of damage.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, they are underway down in Washington. The Braves have taken a 1-0 lead over the Nationals. Jordan Zimmerman's on the mound for Washington. There was a 56-minute rain delay. Tim Hudson's pitching for the Braves. Polanco, a high chopper over toward the left side. Backhanded by the shortstop Cozart. And threw him out by a couple steps.
Well, I tell you, that's got to be a big game for Atlanta down there in Washington. One of the few times that you're actually pulling for Atlanta to win, just to try and get closer yourself. But you have to do your job here in your own ballpark. Be a good time to be able to win 7, 8, 9 in a row. 9 out of 10 would be exactly what the doctor ordered.
Outside to Kratz. The Braves go into that ball game against the Nationals. They've lost 2 straight. You saw that note, though. They're 10 games over 500 against the National League East. Now you might think that's good, and it is. But the Nationals are 13 games over 500 against the East.
Well, they've played the best in the National League East. Let's face it. And they've had their share of injuries. Not as much as the fighting fields, but they've had them.
In the air to left center field. Towering shot way back there. That one is gone. Solo home run for Eric Kratz. And he's just given the Phils a 3-2 lead. This guy's one of the strongest catchers that you'll see.
Well, Charlie likes him, and he did. And talked about him even earlier. Just taking batting practice. He's starting to get a lot more confidence, and you can tell just by the way of that swing, and he knows it. It's gone. Take a look at how he just drops it. That's a classic drop there for a home run. You like to see those. Maybe even toss it a little further there when you get them. But that's a nice hit in there for Kratz. And again, he's opening up eyes for sure.
Well, that's his 7th home run. I mean, think about it. 7 home runs in a limited amount of at-bats.
Yeah, and he's just not pulling the balls. He's hitting the balls in some of the deepest part of the field.
Doc fouls it back. It's 1-2. You know, Carlos Ruiz, who's still on the disabled list with the sore foot and the boot is off. He connected on 14 home runs. Kratz has 7 home runs. That's 21 between the two catchers. Schneider has 2. So offensively, the catcher's position has been pretty solid this year. But just to kind of put it in perspective, Kratz, counting his at-bats tonight, has 61 at-bats. And he has 7 home runs.
Unbelievable.
Ryan Howard has 8 home runs in 128 at-bats.
Yeah, not only that, he's thrown in 6 doubles to boot, Kratz. That shows you that he's been able to hit for some power. And to come up and do this even, I mean, now, it's going to be so much valuable for him for the next year and going into spring training because he's not going to be nervous.
Well, Eric Kratz certainly didn't look nervous here. He took this fastball and he whacked it to deep left center field to give the Phils a 3-2 lead as we go to the 5th. Mentioned how difficult this homestand is for the Phillies. It's not only the 4 games against the Reds, but this weekend the Washington Nationals will be here for a 3-game series. Sunday, all fans 14 and under receive the ShopRite Jimmy Rollins Back to School Cooler Bag. You can get your tickets anytime at Phillies.com. It's a great giveaway. The Nationals, their rankings, well, they've been pretty consistent all year offensively, but it's the bottom one that has been their key to success. A 3.25 ERA, which is first in the league. Eric Kratz just hit a 415-foot home run to give the Phils a 3-2 lead. And Doc will go to work against Devin Mesoraco, and he throws a strike. It's 0-1.
I tell you though, with Kratz, I don't think anybody saw that coming, because if they did, they would say, hey, look out for this kid when he comes up here to the major leagues. He's got tremendous power. You haven't heard that type of talk. He's basically got noticed because of him. And I think Charlie talked about him, though, with tremendous power. But a lot of times when you see guys in batting practice hitting balls over the fence, you kind of overlook that because it's done in a time when you're facing, really, let's face it, coaches and not game situation.
The ball's pulled down the left field line. It's going to be a double for Mesoraco as Juan Pierre peels it off the wall. 8th double of the year for Mesoraco. Well, sometimes, you know, things click later for guys, and I guess you can say with Eric Kratz getting a chance that things have clicked at the age of 32. He's smarter.
Yep.
He's stronger.
Definitely stronger.
I mean, he was always strong, but he's stronger and he's in much better shape. Charlie says. I mean, you know, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
And he's also handling the pitchers well, too.
Yeah, when he said that catching the pitchers in spring training, he's not in awe of catching them at this particular time. And then when you're hitting, boy, it just makes everything slow down for you and can become easy.
Leake bunts it toward third. It's a fair ball. Polanco, a nice play, and the sacrifice is successful. If you're wondering whether he could have let that go to roll foul, I don't think it was going to roll foul.
No, that ball was bunted, and he made him come and get it. That's what you're supposed to do. Great technique. You want that third baseman to feel the ball when you have a runner at second base and take a look at it. Started to roll, and, well, I don't know if you could tell, but it was pretty hard, almost as if it was going to go straight.
Cozart's 1 for 2. One ball, no strikes, the count. Well, Eric Kratz certainly has gotten a chance to play with Carlos Ruiz on the disabled list, but Murph, Carlos is making some progress, isn't he?
He is. It was good to see him back in the clubhouse today, and even better to see that the boot is off the foot. He no longer has to wear that protective boot. Now, he's still a little ways away, obviously, from coming back and playing, but he said he did take some swings today in the cage, and he's hoping to come out and maybe even take some live batting practice as early as Wednesday. So that certainly would be good news for Carlos Ruiz. And, you know, you got to kind of expect that he'll be back before the end of this season if he's making that kind of progress.
Yeah, he spent a day while the Phils were on the road up at the Little League World Series in Williamsport, visiting with the team from Panama, and that's when the news broke that he had the boot off. He also spent Saturday here at the yard at the blood drive. You know, fans were receiving the Carlos Ruiz T-shirt for giving blood. They also received a visit from Carlos Ruiz.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny because I saw a lot of fans on Twitter talking about the chance to get to meet Carlos Ruiz. Obviously, Chooch would have rather been in Milwaukee with his teammates playing the Brewers, but the next best thing, he had a chance to spend the afternoon, you know, really raising awareness for what is such a terrific cause and a terrific day, the blood drive here at Citizens Bank Park. So good for the fans that were here giving blood, get a chance to meet him.
Infield comes in, 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count to Cozart. Swing and a miss. He got it with the curve. That is a big-time pitch in a big-time spot. Strikeout number 3 for Doc.
Good break on that pitch there, and that's why the infield came up. They knew exactly what pitch they wanted to throw to him. And even if he had hit that ball, it would probably been off the end of the bat, infield in, and that was a good chance to get the runner there at third.
Now Heisey, who's 1 for 2. Starts him off with another curve.
You know, the other interesting thing, if Chooch doesn't get hurt, you don't even know if Kratz is going to be able to play.
So right.
Because he may not have even been here on this team. Snyder was the backup, and he certainly wouldn't have gotten as much at bats. That's for sure.
Yeah, he may have been a third catcher, but he may have just been a pinch hitter. Ground ball toward third, a fair ball inside the bag, down the left field line, and we're tied up at 3. Heisey's on his way to second. He's there standing with the RBI double.
Wow. That was a tough pitch. He hit a tough pitch. Looked to be inside on his hands. Got to clear your hips if the ball is inside. Take a look at it. See how that ball came inside? He just almost fell, but cleared his hips. There it is right there, right down the line. Once it's down the line, just about an automatic double for any runner.
Brandon Phillips 1 for 2.
Sure, Doc was hoping he could have pulled that inside pitch foul. I don't know how he actually kept that ball fair, the way that ball was moving inside on his hands.
Hit the chalk about 3 feet from home plate. Swing and a miss and another curveball. It's been a really good pitch for him tonight.
sets that all up, throws the balls inside, and he's one of those pitchers that can get inside strikes. But that's what keeps that hitter, well, keeps him on his P's and Q's. You know, and make sure that you just don't dive out to hit that ball on the outside part of the plate.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Opposite way, a foul ball. Who would have thought Brandon Phillips would be a number 3 hitter? But as we said, with the injury to Votto, they've had to tinker with their lineup a little bit, and he's filled in nicely as the number 3 hitter.
He's one of those guys, you can put him in the 2nd spot, 3rd. He can hit in the 5th spot. Be able to drive in runs. He can hit with 2 strikes on him, and some other big clutch hitter. Pretty good second baseman, however, in the league. Talking with him earlier, he felt he should have made the All-Star team, but did not.
Over toward the hole, Rollins backhands. He's not going to have a play. And Phillips will have an infield single.
Smart play to keep that in your back pocket.
Well, it doesn't get any easier now that Jay Bruce is coming up. You can visit the ballpark up close and personal with your group of 25 or more. Tours include visits to the dugout, Diamond and Hall of Fame clubs, and much more. Available year-round. For information or to schedule your group tour, check out Ballpark Tours at Phillies.com. Well, Jay Bruce has an RBI double and a walk. How careful are you with Bruce here, Sarge?
Well, he's the guy that has the most power there. You got to be careful. If he hits a pitch, it has to be your pitch. And preferably something where he's not going to be able to pull the ball. This guy here, usually dead pull hitter.
There you go. He pulls it into right field, a base hit, and the Reds will take the lead. Phillips on his way to 3rd. The throw by Dominic Brown is not in time. It's an RBI single, the 2nd RBI of the night for Bruce. It's 4-3 Cincinnati.
No, well, these are some of the things that this club has been doing. Getting 2 out base hits. Pretty good throw, too, by Dominic Brown, right on the money. This is when Doc needs to stop the bleeding. Check out this pitch, see where it is. Fastball clearing his hips again. Line drive. It's going to get anybody. Now look at this throw here by Dominic. This is all the way through that ball, and those are some of the things that Dominic will be doing that's going to make him better and be a player that possibly can play every day.
Rowland tonight is grounded out. He's also flied out. He did pick up the RBI and the ground out to 3rd his first time up. Kratz blocks it. Bruce is off first. The throw goes to first. Phillips is coming home. The throw is wide. Oh boy, a run scores. What a play by Utley to get that ball and make sure it doesn't go to the outfield. The inning is over, but it's 5-3 Cincinnati. Well, once that ball went to first from Eric Kratz, Phillips was destined to head home at some point. Bruce stayed in the rundown long enough to enable Phillips to score. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Phillies trail it by 2. look at Phillies sports. Phillies top sports writers discuss this series and the Eagles preseason matchup with the Pats. Watch Daily News Live tomorrow at 5 only on Comcast Sportsnet. Oh, we've seen some odd base running during the last couple of weeks. Break this down for us, Sarge.
Well, that ball is actually blocked there, but the throw, when it goes over, it goes away, throws that ball a little bit away, and that's when Brandon Phillips took off from third base, but he didn't go until he actually saw Howard throw the ball. Howard trying to get it out quickly. That's what I said before. When he has time to kind of think, that's when he kind of throws that ball away. Tried to get it out, but when he threw it away, it was wide. Utley diving to get the ball. By then, it's too late to get Brandon Phillips coming in.
Rollins wanted to the count. I think the key there was Brandon Phillips. Not only to not stay at third, come down the line.
Oh, yeah.
And then break almost immediately once there was another throw. And a called strike 3. Rollins down looking. That pitch came over the inside part of the plate.
Yeah, and you're right about a smart base running. Take a look as he's going to go down just a little bit there. Now watch that. Now he takes off. There's no chance to get him, even if it's a good throw. He just read that ball the way that he needed to. Bruce staying in the rundown long enough and not going back and just getting tagged out had a lot to do with the run scoring, too.
Well, the Phillies down by 2 for the second time tonight. They came back and took a 3-2 lead. Let's see what they could do here in the bottom of the 5th. They trail at 5-3.
Well, this is a pitcher they can certainly come back on. And you want to try and do it as quickly as possible. You have some guys in that bullpen that can throw the ball and throw awful hard.
Yeah, we said before, it doesn't look like Aroldis Chapman will be available tonight. But they still have Sean Marshall and Jonathan Broxton. 3-1 the count to Pierre, who struck out his last time up. Utley's on deck.
I thought Utley did a great job just to be able to corral that ball and keep maybe it from going into left field, and therefore Bruce would have been at second.
Three and 2 the count to Pierre. And a line drive base hit towards center field. Heisey was playing over toward left center, but he picks it up quickly. Nice throw. And Pierre has 2 hits tonight. Juan does have a stolen base tonight. As we mentioned before, it is the 11th time in his career that he's reached 30 stolen bases in a season. He has 584 steals. And Sarge, he's 2 away from tying Maury Wills for 19th all time.
Wow. What an accomplishment. What a great career he's had. One of the guys realizing early on that, well, not going to be able to hit home runs, so what I'll do is try and score as many runs and steal as many bases as he possibly can. And he's been doing it. Tell you one thing, it's hard to outwork him. One of the first guys at the ballpark. All he thinks about is winning and obviously getting hits.
Utley hits it toward left center field. That's going to be in for a base hit. It's going to go toward the track. Misplayed out there by Paul. Pierre's around third. He's going to score. It's an RBI double for Utley, and the Phils are back within 1. Well, good for Chase Utley because he's hit the ball hard 3 times tonight. And he finally has an RBI double to show for it.
Boy, going with that Waynes hits that ball into left center there. Ball misplayed. Therefore, you got Juan Pierre going all the way in from first base and making it with no throw. But like I said, this is the type of pitcher the Fighting Phils should be able to handle, at least be able to hit the ball hard off of it.
Howard's 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs. They're going to walk him intentionally. Well, that's the way he's been swinging. Phillies have been walked intentionally the least amount in Major League Baseball, or at least in the National League this year.
Well, not having Utley in your lineup, and along with Howard, big reason for that.
Howard's board. Dominic Brown, or excuse me, John Mayberry is coming up. Here's Ryan Howard's home run back in the third.
Yeah, and again, he knows it's out of there. There's that little lay down. Thought that ball was going to hit up in that second deck. So he hit something and went straight down.
Well, Sarge, for that home run and for each one hit by the Phils this season, including the one by Eric Kratz, one tree will be planted by the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society as part of Home Runs for Trees, a partnership between the Phils, PHS, and Aramark. Home Runs for Trees is part of Plant 1 Million, a project to restore the region's tree coverage. Go to Phillies.com/Red Goes Green for more information. John Mayberry is 0 for 2. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. The Nats now lead it 4-1 over Atlanta. Ian Desmond has just hit a 2-run home run against Tim Hudson. That game's just in the top of the second. So much for a pitcher's duel.
Well, still need Atlanta to be able to win that game. That's just going to be trying to run away with it.
One ball, no strikes, the count to Mayberry.
Kind of waiting just too long. I would have actually called time out as a hitter when a pitcher's holding that ball. You just don't want to stand up as if you're a statue there. Just takes too much time. You want to get out and then maybe get back in there. I think the longer you wait, the more difficult it is to try and catch up to that ball.
There's a liner to left center field, a base hit. Utley's going to score, and the Phillies will tie it up. Look at Howard trying to get to third. He's on his way. Mayberry to second. It's an RBI double. It's a 5-5 game. They're going to score that actually a single and to second on the throw. They could have given him a double on that. It's an RBI.
Well, picking on a breaking ball. Take a look at it. Stays right in there. Didn't bail. See that? That's the stroke that he needs to have. There it is again. Staying on a breaking ball. Haven't seen that a lot. He's been getting better and better at it. That ball should have gone into second base. Young players will always try and do the impossible a lot of times. But again, you want to keep that double play in order. Throwing that ball to third base does not do that.
Brian Price out to talk to Mike Leake. Bullpen action. Sam LeCure is throwing in the bullpen for the Reds. 92 pitches for Leake. There's LeCure.
Well, that's about as good as you can hit a breaking ball from Mayberry besides hitting it out. I'm more impressed that he stayed right on it. Recognizing it was the key. And then driving the ball.
Well, now the left side of the infield is going to play in. The right side is back for Dominic Brown. That may be to his advantage, the way he's been swinging so far. Maybe not if they pitch it inside.
Well, I mean, they can pitch him inside. That was a ball right there, a little bit anxious. You know, in this situation, can't be afraid to hit with 2 strikes, especially if you know a pitcher can't throw the ball by you. Therefore, you can pick out your pitch up to 2 strikes to be able to hit.
0-1 the count to Brown. Line drive down the right field line. That is a fair ball going to the corner. Howard scores. Here comes Mayberry. He'll score, and Dominic Brown has a 2-run double, and the Phillies retake the lead. It's 7-5 here at the bottom of the 5th.
Well, that's just good punch hitting again. That breaking ball up He was inside. Dominic Brown turning on that ball, and boy, I got to tell you, that's going to make Greg Gross, hitting coach, very happy. Those are some of the things that they work on. Take a look at it as he gets that ball. Maybe not a breaking ball, just something up there in the zone. He didn't get it in. Dominic made him pay for it. Mayberry crosses the plate there. Nice clutch hitting, giving himself a little 5 there.
Well, here comes Dusty Baker. That's going to be it. So Mike Leake's evening is done. The Phillies still have a runner in scoring position. And Sam LeCure is coming in for the Cincinnati Reds. 7-5 Phillies here in the bottom of the 5th. Which pitcher will settle in first? Will it be the bullpen of the Reds? Will it be Doc? And it's an AT&T call to the bullpen. We'll be back after this. Well, Tuesday, August 28th, the New York Mets are coming to town. That's going to be part of this long homestand, which begins here tonight. Get your tickets at Phillies.com. Don't forget, Thursday the 30th, for the Phillies head to Atlanta. It's a Modell Sporting Goods Kids Run the Bases. And, of course, it's a Citizens Bank Business Person Special. How about the offense tonight? 7 runs on 10 hits for the Phillies. Now, the other part of the story is the Reds have 5 runs on 8 hits. But if this is a night of offense, the Phillies are hoping they can just keep on piling on against the Reds bullpen. Sam LeCure is the new pitcher for the Reds. He'll take over for Mike Leake. And Placido Polanco's up with 1 out. Dominic Brown at second. Nice swing by Dominic Brown, huh, Sarge?
Oh, boy. Hard work does pay off. That's going to make him feel just a lot better. And it's not so much about the hits as it is just hitting the ball and making solid contact. Hits will come.
On the hands.
More like the thumbs.
Two away here in the 5th, and now Eric Kratz will bat. 2 for 2. A single, a home run, and I believe they're going to walk him intentionally. Wouldn't you with first base open?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, I'd rather go on and face the pitcher.
Yeah, they haven't signaled anything yet. Now there they go. So it will be an intentional walk for Kratz.
Well, again, too, when you're hitting that ball out near the 374 mark there and left center, you don't consider those kind of home runs luck. I mean, that's hit with a lot of power, a lot of authority. Have to ask Kratz how many times has he been intentionally walked in his career.
I would think it's happened often in the minor leagues. He has to be a middle of the order guy in the minor leagues, doesn't he?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say sometimes. Take a look at this one, though. Boy, he continues just the sound coming off that bat is just awful loud.
So Kratz is on first. Dominic Brown's on second. And Doc, who's 0 for 2, is the 9th man to bat in this inning. Outside, 1-0.
Well, it looks good that Fighting Phils are able to come back after being down on the mat like that. Haven't been doing that much during the year. But being able to come back, these are the type of things that will give you those long winning streaks.
1 ball, 1 strike to count to Doc. Mike Leake doesn't get out of the 5th. He allows 7 runs on 10 hits. Ground ball over to third. And Roland goes to Phillips. And the Phillies are retired here in the 5th. But it was a really good 5th inning. 4 runs in the inning for the Phils. They send the starter to the showers for an early one. We'll go to the 6th inning. The Phillies on top by 2. As he carves his way up and down through lineup after lineup. He has posted 2 shutouts, 3 straight wins, and an ERA under 1 thus far in August. During the dog days of summer, he has been in a pretty good groove. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross, changing the game. Well, Jabberwockies will be performing at Harrah's in Atlantic City September 2nd. But before that, they decided to get involved with the Fanatic in between innings. This was a heck of a show going on down here, Sarge.
No doubt about it.
To give the Fanatic a little credit, too. He wasn't anywhere near in sync, but he had some pretty good moves.
Surprised he was able to kind of keep up. He was doing his own thing, however.
Well, Dominic Brown's been doing his thing, too, for the Phillies, and he's found himself in the RBI column the last couple of days. He just picked up a 2-run double that's given the Phils a 7-5 lead. This after 4 RBIs yesterday. So Doc has the lead again as we begin the 6th.
Yeah, well, he's looking for a shutdown inning here. I mean, will keep that momentum right on your side. Maybe the doctor can just go on and go to work.
And the line drive base hit by Roland. So a leadoff single. Boy, he's battling tonight. There's no question about it.
Well, that was a breaking ball, and Roland actually smacked right into left field. Looking for a ground ball. Maybe get out of this with a double play.
There's a strike, 89 with the fastball. It's 0-1. P.J. Rosenberg's going to start to warm in the bullpen for the Phillies. They certainly want to give Doc the 6th inning, if not more. But he's only at 77 pitches.
Yeah, they're not going on so much how many pitches as the way guys are actually hitting the ball. They've been squaring that ball up.
0-2 the count to Paul. Curveball rolls over on it. Utley's got it. They'll get one at second. So they get the lead runner. Take that. One away, runner at first. And that brings us to our Major League Notebook, which means we'll welcome back in Greg Murphy. Murph?
All right, T-Mac, brought to you by Gwinnett Mercy College. Carl Crawford is headed back to the disabled list, this time with season-ending surgery on his elbow. It is Tommy John surgery. Crawford is in his 2nd season, of course, with the Red Sox, and really hasn't panned out. Last year was a struggle. This year, he started on the disabled list, and he's headed back there again. And how about Roger Clemens, guys? He is making a comeback. No, not to the major leagues, but to the Atlantic League for the Sugar Land Skeeters. The 7-time Cy Young Award winner has signed a contract to play in the Atlantic League. He says it's going to take a little time to get back to his form, throwing about 87 so far in his rehab assignments leading up to this. And he says he's going to take it one start at a time. So Roger Clemens back on the mound, guys.
Amazing. He's 50 years old.
50 years old.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is the big question.
Love of the game, I'm thinking.
Murph, see if you can call him up and ask him why.
I'm sure he'll call me right back.
Yeah. 2-0 the count. I mean, seriously, I know that with the trial which just took place, where he was alleged to have lied under oath, as apparently using star. I know he's trying to clear his name and he's hoping to get into the Hall of Fame and all those other things, but what's this going to lead to?
I think I'm sorry, Sarge, but I think part of it is Gary Gaetti is the manager down there, and he played with Gary Gaetti in Houston. So I think there's a connection there. And, you know, on top of, like you said, I think he really just kind of wants to repair his image a little bit. So maybe he'll have some fun with the fans and do some good things in the Atlantic League.
Well, now, all seriousness, he's 50 years old. He's throwing 88. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. All right, that is impressive. And I guess they will probably sell out. But, I mean, I don't know.
It's true. I'd go watch him. If I was a baseball fan, I'd go watch him pitch at 50.
I'd watch Sarge hit again if you do that.
Sarge, why don't we do that?
I'm done.
Put that together. You against Clemens.
You know, in that situation for me, I mean, only one thing can happen. I mean, he can only. They're expecting him to do well.
Runner goes. The throw to second, right in the baseline. I don't know how he does it. He doesn't even straighten up and throw. You wouldn't teach that.
No, you don't teach that. And he does. He gets a lot on it. And that's the other indication how strong he is. Take a look at it. He's going to just actually throw right from his knees. He must feel a lot more comfortable. But look at that, right on the money. There it is again. And, I mean, he throws it and throws it with something on it. I don't even know how he can see second base the way the mask always seems to come out right around in his vision.
2-2 the count to Cairo. To center field. Mayberry is over. This turns out to be a relatively clean inning for Roy Halladay. He retires the minimum. His catcher certainly helped out. We go to the bottom of the 6th. The top of the order is due up for the Phillies. Chevrolet. See your local Chevy dealer. Visit ChevyDealer.com. By McDonald's. Now at McDonald's, any size soft drink or sweet tea is just $1. And by Thomas Jefferson University Hospital. Call 1-800-JEFF-NOW for an appointment. Bottom of the 6th inning. It's 7-5 Phillies. Phillies have already gotten into the Reds bullpen. Sam LeCure, who came on to get the final couple of outs in the 5th, gets ready to begin the 6th against the top of the order. Sarge, Jimmy Rollins is 0 for his last 20. Is he due?
I tell you, he's been due. Average is starting to drop.
A little out in front.
Well, one of the things that he doesn't do is every now and then bunt, and he has tried that some, but not enough for me.
Well, he bunted yesterday and bunted just a little too hard.
Yeah. Well, he has a swing where, for whatever reason, has a tendency to pop that ball up. I don't know whether or not, where that elbow is actually maybe flying up, or maybe he's just trying to get underneath it. 57 times he's done that this year. And he has a kind of a compact zone, meaning that, all of his pitches should be right near just that belt area. Doesn't want to swing at the high pitches, and every now and then he'll do that. Like there. Now he gets the ball where he can get it down. That same pitch there, it's a ball. It's a bit different from having, say, 2 balls on you and 1 strike, or 3 balls on you and 1 strike, as opposed to the 2 strikes. That's all a part of hitting. That's what you call, too, being able to set that pitcher up. You're ahead in the count. It becomes much easier to hit. Doesn't guarantee it, obviously, but it's just much easier.
He lays off the high pitch, and it's 3-2.
Yeah, that could be another reason that he's popping it up. There are those high fastballs, or swinging at balls that are high in the zone. You don't get on top of those balls, they're going to be little pop-ups.
Liner to right field. There you go. The offer is over with. That one's to the wall. Bruce picks it up. Rollins to second, and he's there with a stand-up double. He had been 0 for 20 before that double.
Yeah, sometimes when you're in an 0 for, you just really think there's too many players there on the field. That particular pitch, though, down in the zone, and he has a lot of success when he's swinging with that ball in this particular area. And there's where he has to be able to consistently get swinging at that ball, and he'll have more of those doubles.
Pierre up there to bunt.
Either way, from bunting or being able to pull the ball to get him over.
Quarters are in for the Reds with Utley on deck.
He bunts it toward third. Roland has to come in and can't hesitate because of Juan Pierre's speed. See whether or not they're going to go on and let him hit, or go on and try and get another run, bunt him over.
And he bunts. LeCure thought about third. He waited too long. He kind of double clutched, and obviously it was a tag play and not a force. And Rollins is in safely. That just wasn't a smart play by the Reds pitcher.
No, not at all. that situation, you got to go on and take it out. The reason that he actually ended up going there is the ball was bunted fairly hard and right at him, but his fault was, take a look at it, he hesitates or didn't have the grip. You can see J-Roll coming on in and sliding right there, staying on the bag.
Oh, Dusty Baker's going to do a double switch here. They're going to credit Juan Pierre a sacrifice on the play. And I believe a fielder's choice. So we've got a double switch going on here. Dusty Baker's going to bring in a new pitcher. Phillies have runners on first and third. Todd Frazier's coming into play first. And we'll be back right after this. Frazier comes on, who is from where, Sarge? The Garden State. And Jose Arredondo is the new pitcher for the Reds. You're supposed to know where he's from.
Am I supposed to know where he's from? Was that in the notes today?
Arredondo's 5-2. His earned run average is 2.61. They bring in the hard-throwing right-hander to face Chase Utley with runners on first and third. Another run or two here would look awfully nice.
Oh, boy. First game of the series, most important one. Takes pressure off of your ball club.
Up high, 1-0. That's a tough strike. 92 toward the outer edge. 1-1 the count. Utley's hit the ball hard 3 times tonight. He's lined out to second. He's grounded out to first, and he has an opposite field double.
Juan Pierre is still in a situation where he can try and steal a base.
Arredondo thought that, so he throws over. Well,
he's seen a couple of pitches, meaning Juan has. And it's how the base stealers start to measure up pitchers that they're trying to steal on. Just Sam Palazzo, first base coach, always has the time on how quick he is to the plate. That's when pitchers, too, will make mistakes when you split their concentration. We have runners there where any of them are in scoring position. That just puts pressure on that pitcher to make a good pitch.
Utley loops it towards left. Hall is under it, makes the catch. Rollins coming home. The throw goes to second. It's 8-5 Phillies. RBI number 2 for Utley on the night. Take that, Sarge.
Any day of the week. So will Utley. Like those RBIs there. Pitcher loved them. But good hitting, though. Making contact. That's what you want to do. How about this in the third inning? See how he went down to get that ball and drove the ball out of the ballpark. Ryan Howard, too, a low ball hitter. Sometimes he thinks the balls are a little bit too low that are called strikes. But for me, those are good pitches that Howard can hit. That one there a little bit outside for me. Don't want to swing at that first pitch.
To the count to Howard. He took a little off that pitch, that changeup at 86 miles an hour.
He's got some movement on that pitch. Ball that's coming in. If he can get a pitch that's down in the zone and make solid contact with it.
In the dirt, Pierre holds up at first. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. I think Pierre thought he probably thinks now that he should have gone to second base. I say that just because of the clap of his hands on that play.
Well, he's trying to go. When he goes, he wants to try and pick out a off-speed pitch or breaking pitch to steal on and get to the plate a lot slower. That was a changeup that he actually threw right in the dirt.
Another changeup, but he fouled it away. Phillies with 8 runs on 11 hits in this game so far. They trailed it 2-0 going into the bottom of the first, tied it up at 2 in the third, took the lead in the fourth, then watched the Reds retake the lead in the fifth, only for the Phils to now score 5 unanswered. They lead it 8-5 here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Yeah, that was big, being able to come back and score those runs.
2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Up high, 3-2.
I don't know why he hasn't run. Maybe just not able to get the jump, but I'm sure 3-2. He's got to be taken off, but you want to run as if you're still in the base. Just because Howard has a tendency at times to strike out a little too much, so you're not really looking back. You're running as if you want to steal the base if you go.
Pierre goes. That ball's hooked down the right field line. He's just a little out in front of it. So Juan, who was already beyond second, will go back to first.
Solid contact, though, even though he was out in front a little bit. Look at that jump, boy, I tell you, and if it's in, that's another run. See how he got out in front, just hooked the ball some.
Swing and a miss. They won't even throw to second. So a stolen base for Pierre. His second one of the night. And they'll deal with John Mayberry with a runner in scoring position.
I tell you, he gets a good jump. I mean, reads these pitchers. It makes a big difference. Right? When he's in that lineup, he definitely makes a difference in your lineup. Then when he's on base, you know, as a hitter, you're going to get a lot of fastballs, even though change up there to a power hitter than Ryan Howard. But for the most part, you're going to get pitches that are harder than, well, breaking balls. Not going to get a lot of breaking balls with a base stealer there on the base path.
Well, Pierre's now just one stolen base away from 14th place all time. One more and he ties Maury Wills for that number. Maury Wills.
Yeah, that's quite an accomplishment.
Dad, I'm going to become a major league player and I'm going to have as many stolen bases as Maury Wills.
Good
Think
luck.
About it. Outside, 2-0.
Well, one of the things, though, we've talked with a lot of guys that have stolen bases, Davey Lopes for sure, that you can't be afraid to get thrown out. I mean, if you're thrown out, you got to continue to try and get that jump and try and steal a base. That's exactly what Juan Pierre does.
Mayberry rips it deep down the left field line toward the pole. It is gone! Just inside the pole, a two-run bullet by John Mayberry. And the Phillies have now extended their lead to 5. It's 10-5 Philadelphia.
Wow. Well, that's getting on it. That's getting on that fastball there up in the zone a little bit. Mayberry, he doesn't do a lot of first pitch swinging. I mean, he gets all over this. You can just listen to the sound and look at his bat. I mean, it goes and it gets out of here quick, that line drive.
11 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Here's Dominic Brown. 10-5 Phillies here in the bottom of the 6th. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Mayberry has 3 RBIs tonight. Ryan Howard has 2. Chase Utley has 2. Dominic Brown has 2. Oh, 2 the count.
Yeah, they've squared up a lot of balls here. Again, hitting coach Greg Gross will be very happy about that. Hey, this league, though, doesn't matter how hard you throw, you're going to have good spots you're throwing it in. And movement.
Foul tip into the glove of Mesoraco. Second strikeout for Arredondo, but the Phillies scored 3 more times here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2 on this line drive home run by John Mayberry. On to the 7th we go. It's 10-5 Phillies. Well, Roy Halladay gets set to begin the 7th inning. He's got a 5-run lead. He delivers a pitch outside to Devin Mesoraco. Excuse me.
Well, if it looks like those highlights that a lot of guys have been scoring, look at that. This is one of the best offensive games they've had all year as far as extra base hits, home runs, which are extra base hits. Look at all the guys that have chipped in here tonight, too.
The ball's hit hard to third, backhanded cleanly and smoothly by Polanco.
Phillies see these Cincinnati Reds uniforms, and they hit. It's amazing the way they played this team over the years.
Well, Todd Frazier will be the hitter. Frazier was here as part of a double switch. Frazier 288 with 17 home runs, 54 runs batted in.
Made his major league debut here last year. Remember, it had a lot of family and friends cheering for him down there when his name was announced, and I believe he struck out.
He may have. He has kind of an odd swing at times, not just because you just saw it there, but
yeah, that curveball really fooled him.
He has been a big boost for this team.
He's strong.
With all the injuries they've had. Stays alive and remains 0-2.
He's pulling off a little bit on that hook. Roy Halladay out there thinking, do I really have 10 runs? And he's given up 5. This would really be a nice win if they could get it for him, for all the low run games that he's pitched and maybe didn't win.
The Phillies this year have scored 10 runs in a game 4 times, and I guess I could say just 4 times, because 10 runs in a game, well, that wasn't odd.
No.
The last few years. 1-2 pitch in the dirt. 2-2.
Throwing a lot of curveballs and changeups tonight. Not that many sinkers. Some, he uses a lot of cutters too. Curveball, changeup, he's used quite a bit.
Opposite way. It's going to drop for a base hit. His fanny was in the third base coach's box when he made contact with that.
Yeah. It was a cutter, it looked like.
Well, these lucky fans are tonight's Citizen 7. They will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. Well, 1 out, runner on first. Bullpen action behind Halladay, who's working with a 5-run lead. Cutter just cut a little too far outside that first one.
These guys have made pretty consistent contact here tonight, and they're a very good offensive team. Coming up on 100 pitches, that's where they have to get the bullpen ready.
He is due to bat third in the Phillies' half of the 7th inning.
Now, this would be, if he gets through this inning, that would be it for him.
There's Rosenberg. Over to shortstop. That might be 2. Rollins to second for 1. Utley's quick flip to first in time. 6-4-3 double play. So Doc allows the 1-out single, but then is able to roll the double play ball to help his cause here in the 7th. Time to stretch in Philadelphia. The Phils on top by 5. Time now for the Dodge Stuff the Fans Trivia Quiz answer. All right, Wills, here's the question. Pete Rose has 3,358 hits as a Red. Who is second on the Reds' all-time hit list with 2,340?
Let's go with this year's Hall of Famer, Barry Larkin.
Hall of Famer Barry Larkin is correct.
Yeah, baby.
Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing Dodge Stuff the Fans. There's Sarge giving you a little bing there, Wheels.
That was a bing.
Bing.
I love that. Well, we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Logan Andrusik is the new pitcher for the Reds. And he's on with the Phillies up on top by 5, 10-5. Andrusik is the 4th pitcher used tonight by Cincinnati. And he'll face the bottom of the order. We'll see. I mean, it's Placido Polanco, Eric Kratz, the pitcher spot. I would think the Phillies will go to the pen in the top of the 8th.
Roy Halladay threw 7, right around 100 pitches through that double play ball. That was really big for him there. That's been such a weapon for him throughout his career with sinkers and cutters throwing double play balls.
Well, he really gutted it out tonight against a very good offensive lineup.
Yeah, they came out. They ran themselves out of the first inning, and that changed I think changed the whole game.
0-1 pitch to Polanco. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Maybe the Phillies would have had this big offensive night, but you get down 4-5-0 in the first inning. That's such a belly punch. And when you kept it to 2 the way they did, that really helped them, I think, mentally.
2-1 the count. Well, what it does is it makes the old gruff pitching coach's decision a little easier as we go to the 8th.
Oh, don't get that going anymore. I had enough of him today with it.
2-1 pitch to Polanco. Chopper over to 3rd. Tough play for Rowan. A foul ball.
He's threatening a lawsuit, everything.
Is he threatening a lawsuit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Libel, slander, all that stuff.
Well, let's review this a little bit.
Why?
Time to go inside the vaults.
It's always a nice feeling when the gruff old pitching coach comes over and makes you laugh.
I can't believe you just called him old.
I said gruff.
Old pitching coach.
Well, I said old.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, he'll love that.
Wheels was on the phone yesterday on the bus.
Yeah.
He had escaped the first encounter with Rich Doobie on the way back from Milwaukee. But Doobs found his way back to the bus, to the back end of the bus.
Hang up the phone.
You could have been on an important phone call.
I was. I got in trouble. What are you doing hanging up on me?
So when's the lawsuit coming out?
He's working on it. He got the approval evidently from Dave Buck today to proceed with it.
Ball 4th, so Polanco's aboard to start the 7th inning.
Dave Buck is what, our vice president of marketing? That sound right?
He's the man who approves the lawsuits.
Correct.
That Rich Doobie puts together.
Yeah.
Only Rich Doobie. There's Eric Kratz with nobody out in the 7th. Lance Nix is coming out of the on-deck circle. Outside, 1-0.
Senior Vice President of Marketing and Sales is Dave Buck, and lawsuit approval.
Right, for Rich Doobie.
Right.
Ooh, that got him. Kratz is aboard, 1st and 2nd. With nobody out, here comes Lance Nix.
Catchers are tough.
He's got the front of his jersey.
Yeah, that wasn't even one that's going to hurt him, thankfully. So nice right now. You bring this left-handed hitter off the bench with 2 men on base, and you're not even thinking about a bunt. You have a 5-run lead. This is a swing the bat situation.
So Doc's done after 7. And the Phillies watch Nix take a strike. It's 0-1. By the way, the Braves have tied up the Nationals 4-4. That game's now in the 5th.
They got a late start on a rain delay. All of a sudden, the wind has really picked up here, too.
0-1 the count to Nix. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Blowing from left to right.
Well, there is some rain forecasted as the night moves on.
We're hoping to get through this without any kind of interruption or even precipitation. But you see those flags are starting to blow a little bit harder. Lance is behind in the count 0-2 now, so it's not as comfortable, but you really want him to pull here if he can. Even if you make an out somewhere on the right side to the outfield, even you can get a run to third base that way with less than 2 outs.
Breaking ball and a called strike 3. Well, he really spun that in the right spot, it looked. Of the inside part of the plate. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Jimmy Rollins, who doubled and scored his last time up, and walks to the plate.
Broke that over.
The double for Jimmy is 26th on the year. His average of 239. Outside corner, it's 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Pretty good breaking pitch from Andrusek.
Well, when you're that tall, what is he, about 6'10"?
Yeah.
And he jumps at you like that and then flips a curveball up there. That's a tough pitch to stay back on. He has to look like he's right on top of the hitter.
Ground ball softly hit left side. Roland flips to second for 1. They get Kratz. That was a smart play. First and third with 2 outs.
He doesn't make many dumb ones.
Want to add to your Phillies game experience? Pregame party areas for groups of 20 or more are perfect for entertaining family, friends, or business associates. A variety of party areas to choose from. For more information, call 215-463-5000 and ask about pregame parties at Citizens Bank Park. The Fanatic's looking for some friends. He may have some join him in between innings. 2 outs now for Pierre. All he's done tonight is scored 3 runs. And he fouls the first pitch from Andrusek off to the left.
He has both the shortstop and the second baseman way back right now with 2 outs, which is the normal play you would have here, except for Juan Pierre. He can get one in the middle of the infield and not hit it real hard. He beats those out. He used to. He still can. You might get a run out of it. Phillips is coming in a little bit.
Tried to check. He went around, says the home plate umpire Bill Miller. Back toward the middle. Phillips backhands. I don't think they're going to have a play. A run scores. It's 11-5 Phillies. And Juan Pierre has himself a 3-hit night.
And they both went for the ball. You see Phillips right there, a little bit of frustration because he makes a great play and he's thinking maybe I can flip to second, except he knows I got another uniform out here with me. It looks like mine, so that means nobody's there. He puts us in a perfect spot. Look up the middle. Now see the shortstop also goes for it, and there's Phillips like, oh, I was going to throw it to you, but it's not going to do me any good to throw it to you in center field. Here it is again. He crosses over. He's thinking about a flip, but there's nobody to flip it to.
Yeah, defense to Cozart. It was on the other side.
Right. Exactly. That's one of those perfectly hit balls. They're both going for it.
2 outs now here in the 7th with runners on first and second, a run in. Utley takes low.
That's what I was saying, that he might find some gold there in the middle of the infield if he could hit a ground ball, but not that way.
Utley tonight has 2 RBIs. He's 1 for 3. A sac fly. 11 runs on 13 hits. Shallow center field, right center field, I should say. Heisey reels it in. Phillies get another run. They've scored at least 1 run in each of the last 5 innings. On to the 8th we go. Phillies up 6. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Ford. More IIHS safety picks than any other brand. Go further. Visit your Quality Plus Ford store today. By W.B. Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. By the Pennsylvania Lottery. $250,000 a year for life. The new instant game for the Pennsylvania Lottery. Must be 18 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. And by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Oh, the Fanatic doing a little dancing again in between innings. Lance Nick stays in the ballgame to play left field. And B.J. Rosenberg's on here in the 8th inning to take over for Doc. Rosenberg on the year 0-1 with a 12.91 earned run average. And he has an 11-5 lead.
Yeah, a 6-run lead with 6 outs to go. Charlie Manuel just wants one of these young guys like a B.J. Rosenberg go out there, have a nice clean inning, and keep this baby moving along to a potential win.
Oh, Doc retired the side in order twice tonight. He faced the minimum 2 other times as Heisey loops this one to right. Brown is over, and it drops for a hit. And Heisey's aboard to lead off the 8th. Every time the Phillies retire the opposing team, 1, 2, 3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports, giving you all your favorite sports all year long.
We do have Antonio Bastardo up in the bullpen. He has not pitched much lately.
He hasn't pitched since the 6th of August.
That's not much lately.
No. I'm sorry, the 8th of August. Over to third. That could be 2. Polanco to second for 1. Utley flips over to first, a little wide. And 1 away with a runner at first. Jay Bruce is due up. Here comes Charlie Manuel, and they're going to bring in Antonio Bastardo with 1 out in the 8th inning. So B.J. Rosenberg faces 2 hitters. He gets an out, allows a single. And Charlie makes the slow walk out to the mound. Antonio Bastardo has not been heard from since the 8th of August. Is about to enter the ball game. Here in the 8th inning. Phillies up by 6. We'll be back right after this to Citizens Bank Park. Let me introduce you to Antonio Bastardo.
Yeah, hi.
Hasn't pitched to the ball game since the 8th of August.
Left-hander
Back out there tonight.
Sinker, slider, occasional changeup.
Yeah, 2-4 with a 5.45 earned run average. Murph, have you met Antonio Bastardo?
Yes, I have met Antonio Bastardo, and I actually was talking to Charlie about him today, and you know, he was talking about why we haven't seen him since August the 8th. And, you know, it's really a couple of different reasons. One, honestly, Antonio Bastardo has not been the kind of pitcher that they needed him to be late in games for a while, and they wanted him to try and get his confidence back. And you add into the fact that they have some young guys that they're trying to take a look at, and that Jeremy Horst has pitched so well. So for all three of those reasons, you know, they've kind of gone away a little bit from Antonio Bastardo. But Charlie said, look, make no mistake about it. We believe in Bastardo. We believe he's going to get back to where he was and be a big part of this team going forward.
It is a good point. Horst has pitched very well for the Phillies. Antonio has struggled with his command. He's struggled with his confidence. He's facing a tough lefty here. It may be the only hitter he faces.
That may be part of the deal, too. They wanted to bring him in to pitch to Bruce just to see how he does here with a 6-run lead and no pressure.
0-1 the count with a runner at first. Short lead for Brandon Phillips. Just outside, 1-1. Yeah, based on a 9-inning game, that's a lot of base runners.
Too many.
Over to first, knocked down by Howard. That ball was scorched. They had runners on first and second. They're going to score that a hit. And Scott Rowland's coming up. And it's going to be Bastardo to face Scott Rowland. Xavier Paul is on deck.
Brian Howard's holding the runner on, then he starts to move out, and here comes the baseball. Hit really hard in the glove and then out. Bruce really hustled down the line too. I thought they have a chance to maybe do a 3-1 hook up there and still get him, but he was moving.
Scott Rowland, who still gets booed louder than any other former Phil.
Yeah. Doesn't have the same venom it used to have, though. It's
still pretty loud, though.
Yeah, but it's not as angry. I think some people have made peace with him. Others, they won't.
Tonight's crowd is 44,341. And the sound of the crowd, to me, means that about 341 have made peace of it. The other 44,000 have not.
Yeah, there's still. I don't know. It used to be really vicious.
Inside, 1-1 the count to Rowland.
I remember him saying one day, Chris, he says, do you think this will ever end here? Obviously it hasn't.
I wonder if this is going to be the last year for Scott Rowland.
Talk to him tomorrow and see if we can get that out of him. He said last year that he would play one more year.
Swing and a miss, 1-2.
He's
really
had
a good run since the All-Star break.
Yeah, he's really banged up. His left shoulder's so bad. And, you know, that's never going to get any better. You see the way he hits now with his hands so much lower than he used to. He used to hit with his hands up a lot more. He could generate a lot more torque. Now he can't. So he drops his hands and tries to make contact. And he's still so strong that he's going to hit some home runs and doubles. But look how low his hands are.
And a called strike 3. Takes a slider, or fastball, I should say. And he's down looking.
Yeah, that was right down the middle.
Well, 4 more outs to get for the Phils to take the first of this 4-game series. That's in a really good spot.
No doubt about that being a strike. That guy's happy. Well, they'll show you to leave us. Well, that was a long time ago, too. They have some thunder on that bench they can bring on. There he is in the on-deck circle, Ludwig.
Yeah, he's been a huge asset for them.
Boy, has he been hot. So this is Bastardo's last hitter. They need to get this guy out.
0-2 the count.
Well, his fastball in pretty good spots. Maybe they'll go breaking ball here ahead in the count, see if he'll chase.
And a called strike three. 92 on the outside part of the plate. Back-to-back strikeouts looking. Antonio Bastardo was not only down, but he was aggressive in this inning. So the Phils will take a 6-run lead into their half of the 8th inning. Get a little work from the bullpen. Colorado Rockies will come to town. It's the 3rd time this year the Phillies will face the Rockies. Friday, September 7th is Cabrini College Knit Hat Night. Free to fans 15 and over. Saturday the 8th is a 7:05 start. Sunday the 9th is a 1:35 first pitch. Order your tickets now at Phillies.com. Ryan Howard leads it off as we begin the bottom of the 8th inning. Phillies lead at 11-5. Howard, a single and an RBI in the first inning, a home run in the 3rd. Potentially walked in the 5th. He struck out his last time up. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. Logan Andrusik started the 7th. Now he's here in the 8th.
A very valuable relief pitcher when he can get 2 innings out of a guy in a game like this when you're trailing. You don't have to use a bunch of pitchers.
Two balls and 2 strikes now the count to Howard. He stays alive as the catcher Zaracco does not hold on. Front and out number 1. Still a good night for Ryan. The single back in the 1st when the Phils were down 2-0 was big. Then the home run which tied it in the 3rd.
And his presence, the intentional walk, set up more.
Much of the Phillies have been intentionally walked the least amount in the National League, and it's really because of Sarchet. Ryan, who hasn't been in the lineup all year.
Exactly. So that was one of those cases where they intentionally walked him. Then the guys like John Mayberry, like Dominic Brown that followed, knocked in runs after that.
Yeah, Mayberry has 3 RBIs. Takes a curve for a strike. It's 0-1.
Here's John Mayberry last time up. Looked like he got a high fastball from Arredondo. He'd been throwing a lot of splits to guys before that and getting them to chase in the dirt, and he threw him a fastball middle in, and bam, he kept it fair.
Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Mayberry and Brown have combined for 5 ribbies tonight. That one's toward left center field. That may drop. It's off the end of the bat. It will drop. Another hit for Mayberry. And he's got 3 straight hits.
Yeah, good night for John.
Against right-handers, too.
Yeah.
Mayberry's not going to be held on over at first, it looks like. And Dominic Brown, who had a 2-run double in the 5th, is up for the 5th time tonight.
What they're saying right now is,
Uncle?
Well, no, they're saying you're not going to run because you have a 6-run lead when you play off a guy like that. Now, in this park, a 6-run lead sometimes.
Yeah, I'd still, if you have intentions to go, yeah, I would still go.
Well, they're telling you. See, I don't. It used to always be to me, I was always told 6-run lead, you don't run.
Yeah.
But nowadays it's different. I think in these parks.
Totally agree with you. Not only in these parks, but also the age of baseball that we're in.
Well, you score more runs. You score more runs in these smaller parks. But anyway, he's not going.
Polanco's on deck. Outside, and ball 4 for Brown.
There was another situation there. No 3-0 green light. Now, I don't know that he didn't have one, but it wouldn't appear that he had one. And that's more of those things you don't do with a certain lead.
All part of those unwritten rules, Wheels.
Right, because if you do them, then the odds are you're going to get somebody thrown at. It used to be that way.
Josh Lindblom is throwing in the bullpen for the Phillies, so I figure he'll pitch the 9th inning. Polanco's 1 for 3. He scored a run after a leadoff walk in the 7th.
Lindblom's another guy who needs to get into a game, get some people out. That had to be good for Bastardo tonight. Threw well. Dollar Dog Night. Hatfield's Dollar Dog Night.
Came in costume.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike to count to Polanco. Wheels, the Powerball, which was won last week, the new one is up to $50 million. That gets picked on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And the Mega Millions on Tuesdays and Fridays is at $55 million. I assume you did not win the Powerball.
No. You got that right. What was the jackpot?
It's $305 million, wasn't it? Wow. Back toward the middle. Base hit for Polanco. Mayberry will be held at third. Now the bases are loaded for Eric Kratz. One person from Michigan, Wheels.
Oh, yeah. Well, congratulations.
Yeah. $305 million. Actually, I think it's more than that. That's what it was leading into the day. I think it wound up being more than that.
Anybody claim it? Oh, yeah. It said somebody
from Michigan.
Somebody in Michigan. But you know where the ticket is, but you don't know who has it. You know, a lot goes into not claiming those babies right away. You got to get some things in order.
Imagine if you lost it.
Oh.
Eric Kratz has been on base 4 times tonight. That one's to straightaway center field. He's going to get another RBI. Mayberry tags. So does Brown. 12-5 Phillies. An RBI for Eric Kratz, his 2nd of the game. Well, this is, as Will said before, this could be the best offensive game of the year for the Phillies, the way it's going.
It just has a real good feel to it. Offensive game with all the extra base hits, the home runs mixed in, sac flies, doing a lot of little things, running the bases well tonight. And having a game where Roy Halladay gives up 5 runs and hopefully gets a win out of it. You know, your big boys should be able to do that once in a while, where they're not perfect, where they give up runs and you score enough to win for them.
Just hasn't happened that often with all the 3 runs or less games that the Phillies have played.
Right. And it's tough to win a lot of games when you only score 3 runs. So tonight, very nice offensive game.
They just appealed to second, thinking Brown left early. He did not, according to C.B. Buckner. Nix is up, 12-5 Phils, and he takes strike 1. Powerball was $337 million. See, I told you I thought it was more than 305.
Yeah, another $32 million.
Brandon Phillips throws out Lance Nix. Phillies are retired here in the 8th. They've had a heck of an offensive night. They've scored at least 1 run in all but 1 inning tonight. On to the 9th we go. The Phils just need 3 outs to finish this off. Comcast Sportsnet for a complete recap and highlights of this ball game. Plus, former pitcher Ricky Vitalico offers his insight on tonight's game. Ricky's going to talk a little offense tonight. Watch Phillies postgame live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance, right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Reds have allowed a season high 12 runs. Here comes Wilson Valdez. What kind of reaction do you think Wilson Valdez is going to get up when he comes to the plate?
It dawns on everybody who it is. A lot of people are leaving right now and have left, but the ones that are here are going to cheer.
Well, here we go. Wilson Valdez
pitching that 17-inning game here last year. Was it 17? It was against these
19,
Reds.
Wasn't
19.
It?
Valdez.
There you go. It's nice.
That's really nice. His teammates are probably sitting there thinking, really? Strike 1.
Well, he did get us out last year.
Yeah, he did get them out.
He got some good hitters out.
0-1 the count.
He got Votto and Bruce out.
Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Hit rolling with like a 60-mile-an-hour, whatever it was.
Josh Lindblom's 2-3 with a 3.76 ERA. Valdez overall for the Reds has struggled compared to his time with the Phillies. Lays off.
Very little playing time, as you said, Tom, and you really have to play to be able to get some hits. Really hard to just pinch hit once in a while. Very few guys can do that.
They're just 205 this year. No homers, 12 RBIs, 132 at bats. That's outside, 2-2. Fouls it away.
Ooh. Almost dove right into that one.
Fouls another one off. Valdez was traded to the Reds for Jeremy Horst. That game on the 25th, he was 3 for 6 in that ball game before he took the mound. Double, 2 singles. He walked once. Then he came on. He pitched an inning, scoreless, 10 pitches, 5 balls, 5 strikes.
And was the winner.
And was the winner. And a called strike 3. Took a slider on the inside part of the plate. So Valdez is down looking. Here we go, Wheels. We'll revisit it. May 25th, 2011. Joey Votto.
Yeah. That was a deep one.
Yard, yeah.
That one looked like it was going to leave. Now, here he hits Scott Rowland with that frisbee. He gets Bruce on a weak fly ball. I forget who that was. Anyway, that was the final out. Was a pop-up.
Was that Arredondo?
You know, it may have been. He's with Toronto now. Encarnacion.
I don't know if that was
he there then?
That's up high. 1-0.
Is he playing third? No.
That might have been Arredondo.
The pitcher?
I think
he was still in the game.
I think he may have had to stay in the game.
Oh.
I could be wrong. I don't remember. It was Fisher.
Oh yeah, that was the pitcher,
Right.
Fisher, who had to stay in the game.
Right.
And by the end of it, he was
tuckered out.
Done.
Yeah.
It was painful to watch that poor guy trying to throw that last inning. The Phillies finally scored.
2-1 the count to Mesoraco. 2-2. Good fastball from Lindblom.
That scouting report on him before the game, and he does pull everything down the third baseline. He's kept some fair tonight, and he also evidently pulls a lot of balls foul.
That game, Fisher went 5 2/3. He walked 3, struck out 4.
Yeah, he had just had it in that last inning. He was
95
done.
pitches.
95 pitches, yeah. Poor guy.
In relief. Here comes the 3-2 pitch from Lindblom. That may stay in the yard. Rollins is over. He has the best angle. And he makes the catch in foul territory.
And that ball was pulled down the third baseline again.
It was.
And there was the sac fly by Raul Ibanez. 6 hours and 11 minutes. And a day game the next day at 105. What a night and morning.
See all those old faces.
Some good players around here. See that shot.
Todd Frazier up for the second time. He singled his first time up. 1 ball, no strikes. Breaking ball, 1-1 the count to Frazier.
Frazier was getting a big kick out of the Fanatic before the game when Dan Baker was doing the lineups, and he imitates the players. he was cracking up because he's, you know, he knows all these Phillies players, a lot of the Phillies players, and some of the things that he was doing, and also for his teammates.
I like when Dan Baker announces the other team's pitcher, if it's a young pitcher, and the fanatic puts both hands out.
Who's that?
Like, who? 2-2 the count to Frazier with 2 outs here at the top of the 9th inning. This has been, at least for the last 5 innings, a very comfortable night for the Phils.
Haven't had many of these.
The 2-2 pitch. Low, ball 3. Tomorrow, Cliff Lee will be on the mound for the Phillies, hoping for the same kind of offense. Another foul ball. Well, I guess 3-2. He's expecting one fastball after another. That one was at 92 miles an hour.
Not an easy inning for Lindblom as far as pitches go. 22 pitches.
Yeah, the foul balls by Valdez. That's what ran the count up. Once again, the 3-2 pitch.
And this guy's fouling a few himself. Fans that stuck around are getting souvenirs.
44,341. Another sellout here at the ballpark. Ball 4. So Frazier with a good at bat with 2 outs here in the 9th inning. And he's aboard for the top of the order. Zach Cozart is the hitter. He's 1 for 4. There goes Frazier. Nobody's holding him on. He'll get to second on defensive indifference. To the count. Good slider. Phillies have won 2 straight, try to make it 3 in a row. Tonight the offense has exploded for 15 hits and 12 runs. Trying to put the finishing touches on a victory. The 0-2 outside 1-2.
To get a picture of that last out.
On the right field line, that'll be out of play. Well, this is Lindblom's inning.
Yeah, 28 pitches. The problem with this is, well, we'll see how the week goes, but you lose a guy for a day when you have an inning like this. Danny O'Rourke's going to have to go down there and rub up some new baseballs.
Or take tomorrow's batch. Lindblom set. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Cozart. To right field. This should do it. Dominic Brown waits, and the Phillies have won 3 consecutive ball games. They take game 1 of this 4-game series against the Reds by a final of 12-5. 7 extra base hits out of the 15 hits overall. They had to come from behind a couple different times, and they win it going away, and they beat the Cincinnati Reds 12-5. And depending on what happens in New York in the bottom of the 9th inning, the Phillies could move into 3rd place in the National League East. Across the board, everybody contributed offensively. Eric Kratz, a long home run. Ryan Howard hit a home run. John Mayberry and Dominic Brown each contributed RBIs.